Why, hello, everybody. Welcome on into Coffee with Brodes. What's happening? How are you today? It's Tuesday, but it feels like Monday because of the holiday. I hope everyone enjoyed their Memorial Day weekend, got to spend some time with their family, and of course, remembered why Memorial Day is a thing. It's not just about the beer, it's not just about the grilling, it's about remembering those that have fallen. So I hope everyone enjoyed their holiday weekend. And now here we are. We're back to reality. And yes, we are back to reality even when it comes to Benjamin Simmons. And that's the hot topic today, as it should be. And I'm just saying, after game one, everyone was like, there's no way you can criticize Ben. And I said, you're wrong. You can criticize Ben because there was something that could possibly show its ugly head later on in this playoff run. And that's exactly what you got last night. You got that the exact same thing that we talked about after game one, running away from the ball because he was afraid of getting fouled and he can't make his free throws. Like it really isn't rocket science. It's something that is clear as day to the eye, and it was a problem yesterday. It was a major problem yesterday. So I don't understand why it can't be noticed even after a win, even after 15 assists and 15 rebounds, why you can't point out a major flaw that can come back to bite your ass later on, because you're watching it happen, and it just happened yesterday. So, all right, there's a lot to dissect because Doc Rivers pissed me off yesterday. I'm sure you guys watched the reaction video. What he was saying was just absolutely ridiculous, but that's what he wanted. So it's like he's a master at it. He knows how to maneuver through the Ben Simmons drama, and he did that for a reason. He said the most obnoxious things in the world, so we put our focus on him and not so much Ben Simmons. So he's getting what he wants because he's getting the reaction. No update on Joel Embiid yet for Mazin, who's, I hope I pronounced that correctly, in the chat. We need to start the way that we always start, though. That's with a nice cup of coffee. I'm not going to lie to you. I hate to admit this, but I have been on a Starbucks iced, no, it's the white chocolate mocha cold brew kick. Like the last 3 days, I can't stop. I apologize. I don't know. I don't feel right, but I can't stop. I go there. Yeah, I'm starting to know the Starbucks sizes. That's when you know you have a problem, right? Normally I'm the idiot that goes, yeah, I'll have a large, I'll have a medium. No. Now I'll have a venti. I'll have a venti. White chocolate mocha cold brew. And they just make it. It's like, oh my God, I don't feel right. I don't feel right. Still a little like too hot, but delicious. Delicious. Brode's turning into a white girl. To be fair, I went with my fiance. We went, the kick started when I went with her. It's like, oh yeah, let's try it out. And now I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. I'm probably going to stop and get one later. I even had a plan to get one before Coffee with Brodes today. I did not. All right, so let's get into some of the conversations here. I wish Simmons would shoot with his right hand. Ben definitely overthinks when he's at the free throw line. Yes, and yes. Are you worried Seth Curry? He's been having an ankle problem all year. Yeah, I mean, he's been banged up and playing through all sorts of issues and all sorts of, lingering things here and there, whether it's a tweak this, a tweak that. Am I worried about it? Not really. I mean, the game before, he was big, and him and Danny Green were both knocking shots. I think this was just more of a shooter not having his best night compared to the night before, where the shooter had really strong shots made and he was delivering. So I think that's just the Seth Curry experience, if you will. It's going to be all over the place. Vanilla, sweet cream, cold brew with vanilla, sweet cream, cold foam. Hey, don't tempt me with a good time. Don't tempt me with a good time. Was that a flagrant again? Yeah, that Russell Westbrook one. Are you talking about the Russell Westbrook? Yeah, I thought that was flagrant. I was a little surprised considering what the NBA is all about. Now, do I want that to be a flagrant? No, I don't want that to be a flagrant. Do I recognize in today's game it probably is? yeah, I thought the referees sucked. I thought the referees were brutal. But for anyone to think that the Sixers lost this game because of the refereeing, that's absurd. They had plenty of chances. Maxey and Furkan. Like, think about what we're saying now. Your max contract player was Hack-a-Ben. It was Hack-a-Ben in a close game because of Tyrese Maxey and Furkan Korkmaz, and yet we're going to blame the stripes, not your all-star max contract player. We're going to blame the stripes. Yeah, he was in foul trouble, and I hated the way that Doc utilized that bench during that time. Like, for Ben Simmons, I thought maybe it was a little bonkers with what Doc Rivers elected to do because of those personal fouls. But at the end of the day, you could have won that basketball game. That game was there to win. Joel Embiid was out. Tobias Harris did not have one of his sharpest performances. You needed Ben Simmons. So now we're not going to be hard on Ben Simmons because the refs called fouls. No, we're talking about 2 minutes to go in a game. Hold on. Don't tell me I haven't laid this out before. 2+ minutes left in the game, and Ben Simmons is getting fouled, and he's afraid of the free throw line. It's exactly the scenario that has been laid out a billion times. So I don't care when it comes to this Ben Simmons. I don't care about the refs and how bad they were, this and that. You know what I care about? I care about one of my biggest players, my most important players, being able to be on the floor in the most important times of the game. That's what I care about. And it's not because I hate Ben. It's because I love Ben. It's because I want Ben out there. But I'll tell you what, those quotes from Doc Rivers yesterday was an embarrassment. That's what that was. Oh, what do you guys do? You don't want me to play him at all? You want me to bench? No. No one's saying that. Oh, what do you want, Ben to score 40 points? No. Nobody's saying that. We're saying we don't want him to get Hack-a-Ben and cost you a game because of the Hack-a-Ben. That's what we're saying, Doc. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I agree with this, Sticky. Sticky Chris says, obviously we can blame the refs for some of the issues, but we had too many chances, and they had to be taken advantage of. Oh, there's no doubt about it. I think that's perfectly said. It's a little bit of, sure, the refs were bad. No one's arguing that. No one's sitting here today saying, you know what was okay? The refs were okay. No, the refs did not have a good day at the office. All right. If I'm the refereeing crew or the officiating of the NBA, I'm having a discussion with the individuals that officiated that game. With that being said, though, I mean, let's not act as if this wasn't a winnable game, and let's not act like your opponent literally said, Ben, I dare you to beat us. Hey, Ben, I dare you to beat us. That's exactly what they did. And what was the outcome? Well, a loss. A loss. Not that that means much long term. I'm not worried that now this series is over by any means. Feels like Tobias was blocked by everyone. Yeah, there were a lot of block shots, like an insane amount of block shots. Wesley, I was waiting for you, my friend, because I saw your comment and I thought it was hilarious that now, like, come on, dude. You're telling me Ben Simmons wasn't a problem at all? It's okay to enjoy Ben Simmons and be a big Ben Simmons fan and love what he brings to the team and also recognize that he has a big flaw. I mean, you'd be biased as hell to be a Ben Simmons supporter and pretend like yesterday wasn't an issue. Like, that's the issue I've been telling you about. And if you don't see it, that's fine. That's just you being uneducated, but that's fine. I'm not demanding you to see it. It's just baffling that you don't see it. I love everything about the way Ben Simmons facilitates. I love everything about the way Ben Simmons defends. I love everything about the way that Ben Simmons plays the game, except for one part of his game, and that showed yesterday. It showed literally yesterday, and that's okay. That's okay. I mean, how can you blame Joel? Literally, I blame Joel is the comment that is displayed on the screen. In what universe Well, no, you are saying that. You are saying that. You are saying that because you've been saying it forever. Last game, you said the same thing. You're like, oh, Brodes, look at Oh, Brodes, look at Ben. Yeah, now look at Ben. It matters. Ridiculous. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Ben could end up costing you later in the play. I know. The question was all season, will the team make up for his flaws? Will you have everybody else step up? Will everybody else be able to step up for Ben Simmons' flaws? And with a healthy Joel Embiid, maybe you have you can. Maybe you have a way better chance and you can slip away with it. It's still a problem. Because Joel can't realize. Imagine being so much of a Ben Simmons stan that after yesterday's game, your comment is Joel doesn't realize his body can't handle all of the falling. Look, man, I get it. Ben Simmons is a special talent. There's just no way in hell after yesterday's effort, it's right and just to say that yesterday is Joel Embiid's fault because he can't understand and acknowledge his body and falling. Like you don't see how this has been taken to such an extreme to not blame Ben Simmons for his flaws. That's what, but look, because Ja says this dude is a cat. No. People actually feel this way. People feel this way. This isn't just Wesley. This is a common feeling for Ben Simmons supporters that go to this obnoxious level of never blaming him. So I'm pointing him out because I know he falls in this category. There's billions and billions and billions and billions of supporters that truly do feel this way. This isn't a troll job. I respect everyone that's followed this channel. Wesley has followed this channel, and I love Wesley. Look, my big thing here is it's sports debate. It's fun. I love going back and forth. There's nothing personal about me and Wesley here. It's fun. It's sports. At the end of the day, I eat dinner with my fiance. I hang out with my dog, and nothing bothers me about what a fan thinks about Ben Simmons. Nothing bothers me about your opinion on sports. It's sports opinion. It's fun. We get passionate, but there's no actual hatred or anything like that. It's fun, passionate debate. There's people who do feel this way. Yeah, he is the biggest reason you lost. The game was literally at the end of the game tied. And here we are with Ben Simmons getting hacked. I mean, I can literally go through let me go through exactly why this is a Ben Simmons loss. The hack of Ben fully worked. 1,000% worked. Hack of Ben worked. 1 of 2. Bradley Beal responds with a bucket to go up 1. 1 of 2. The Wizards get a slam to go up 2. 1 of 2. Then Westbrook settled for a jumper, although I think it was possibly strategic, knowing that Ben Simmons had 5 fouls, and they wanted to keep Ben Simmons in the game longer because of his deficiencies. As you go through the back 2+ minutes of this game, Ben going 1 of 2, the other team responding with 2. Ben going 1 of 2, the other team responding of 2. Ben going 1 of 2. That is exactly Ben Simmons losing the game at the free throw line. It is. I was disgusted by Doc Rivers. I was too, but that's where the problem is. He wants you to do that. He is working and maneuvering through this to try and get all the blame off of Ben Simmons as much as possible. So he wanted to say ridiculous things. He wanted to be obnoxious. He wanted to fight. He wanted to do that. So then after the game, instead of talking about Ben Simmons, they're talking about Doc Rivers. So I know his game plan, and unfortunately it worked because it made my blood boil. Last night, I was actually cracking up in disgust and in pain while I was gathering my notes together, thinking about like what he actually said. In what universe did Doc Rivers really say that stuff? fighting with D. Lynam, going back and forth with D. Lynam, laughing at Kevin Kincaid. How come you guys talk about the negatives? Well, because the negatives lost you a game, Doc. That's why. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It actually is smart from his department. And I know that this is why I said a billion times. Doc Rivers is a smart guy. Doc Rivers is not dumb. Doc Rivers has a strategic plan when he talks about Ben to try and weather the storm here until he ends up having a good game. And then after the good, because he is, Ben's going to have a good game. There's going to be a scenario, probably even game 5, where they're on their home floor. They're going to annihilate the Wizards. It won't be a close game. He'll have 16, 9, and 10. And they'll be like, see, this is why we don't ridicule Ben Simmons. You're right. You can beat the Wizards without it being a problem. All we're saying is in late game moments, in close games against good opponents, it can be a serious problem. That's all we're saying. We're not saying game 3 when you're up by 25, Ben Simmons is going to cost you. We're saying if it's a close game, and oh, by the way, as the playoffs continue, it will be closer games. When that happens, Ben is a problem. Ben is a problem. Nobody's saying that we wouldn't, like, this is, once again, we're going to the extreme, which it's politics. A hard right conservative, a hard left liberal, and it's just like, you can't talk to them because they're just so extreme that there's no middle ground to have a conversation. I'm allowed to be frustrated with Ben Simmons without saying he's got to be gone, he should be gone forever, and without recognizing what he does, saying that I'll miss him. There's a middle ground here. I can be mad at him. I could be frustrated with him. I could be annoyed with Ben Simmons without it getting to the level of like, he's got to be out of here forever and this and that. Like, there's a middle ground. And the extremists on both sides, it's unreal. It's unreal. Unreal. They shouldn't have pulled Maxey. I thought that was a little strange. Yeah, they went back to Seth Curry. And I wonder if they did that because Tobias Harris, they were going to go through Tobias Harris late, right? Because he's been one of the closers. So if you're going to go through Tobias Harris late, what does Seth Curry being on the floor do for the spacing of the Tobias Harris isolation game, or just running through Tobias Harris? There's a big difference with Seth Curry hanging out by the three-point line compared to Tyrese Maxey. But I'm with you. And normally, Doc Rivers does a great job of kind of coaching on the fly and allowing guys to stay in there if they have the hot hand. And they did not do that at all. So it was a little surprising. I also can kind of see what they were trying to do. But yeah, I didn't think Doc had the strongest game. I did not think Doc had the strongest game. Is the game on Doc? I have to lean towards my players, and I keep it 100 here. I'm player over coach 99.9% of the time. Doc could have been sharper. Ben needs to hit his free throws. Ben needs to hit his free throws. With that being said, though, Doc, if after 3 times, 2 times, more to be honest with you, it should have happened even prior to this. You should already know. But all I'm saying is, after X amount of times, if you're just going to keep Ben Simmons out there and allow this to be the case over and over again, well, then at some point it's, yo, Doc, come on now. Come on. No open ice hits today. Yeah, Toronto was ridiculous. You knew it was coming. You knew it was going to happen. Just nuts. Absolutely bonkers. The Canadians go up 2-0. They can't even score a goal until a useless goal late in the third period. I think it was Nylander who put it in front of the net. Carey Price was ridiculous. We'll have an open ice hits back on Thursday. The holiday screwed some things up and kind of messed some things up. So we did not have an open ice hits for the beginning of this week, but we'll resurface for Thursday. Yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs Maple-Leafed, and we thought it was going to happen. It was pretty inevitable. My gut told me all day long, Montreal Canadiens money line. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I'm curious if you're able to talk about the Phillies without your blood boiling. Probably not. Probably not. The Phillies last night or yesterday afternoon was an absolute disgrace what we got out of the Phillies. And I really hope it doesn't continue to be this way all season long, because I'll be honest with you, if this is the baseball that we're going to get for 162, there's no way I can do daily breakdowns. There's just no way. Vinny V had a tough day. I'm not going to say that he automatically stinks. I need to see his next start, because if he responds with a start that he had before this one, then he faces adversity and we feel better about it. If he responds with another one of these, and to be clear, if I was a betting man, I'd say we're probably going to get the version of him that we're used to seeing. I'm not betting that he's going to be this breakout player that we saw over the last 3 starts, not counting yesterday's. But I'm not already jumping ship. Let me see him face adversity. What does his adversity look like? Because it's something that, I have to allow him to get. Just a horrific brand of baseball, though. Is Joe Girardi on the hot seat? This isn't a Joe Girardi issue. Joe Girardi hasn't been good. Joe Girardi hasn't been as sharp as we thought he'd be. This is now the second front office. You had the Matt Klentak, you had the Andy McPhail. They're horrible. Now you're having Dave Dombrowski and Joe Girardi, 2 very, very well-respected people in this business. They've been around the block. They've won multiple championships combined. What's the common denominator? Well, the roster's the common denominator, and John Middleton is a common denominator. You're telling me you go from an egregious front office to probably one of the, you have a lot of winning, a ton of winning, championships, World Series championships in your front office, and you still look this poor. At that point, you got to start looking at people who've been there long term more so than just Joe Girardi. And that's not saying Joe Girardi has been smooth, but, I mean, come on. There's bigger issues here than just Joe Girardi when you look at where this franchise is. Lack of talent, lack of production. You also have the lack of growth in your player development. You have nobody to call up. You have no farm system. You have no prospects. When you do call up a prospect, they can't catch a foul ball in foul territory, which leads to Zach Eflin having to stay out on the mound and getting 4 outs instead of 3 outs, which results in a Zunino 2-run shot, which results in you losing the baseball game. Spencer Howard stinks. It's everything. It's everything with this franchise. You're getting banged up. Rhys Hoskins is your leader, and I love Rhys Hoskins, but if Rhys Hoskins is your leader, I'm a little disappointed in some of the other leadership group players. But yeah, it's 7,000 issues before I get to Joe Girardi. We got Mickey Moniak. Don't do this. If we're not starting to toy with Alec Boehm if we're start moving Alec Boehm to the minors, what we need to do is get him away from third base. Where's he going to play if he's not playing third base? First base. What's that mean for Rhys Hoskins? I don't know. Now, Rhys Hoskins has been doing very well since being moved to deeper into the lineup. There's no denying that. I think I saw some numbers flying around today. Rhys Hoskins, since being dropped to 7th in the lineup, is slashing .328, .432, .507 with a .940 OPS. I'd be willing to trade. I know he's like your leader, and he is, and he's your most vocal guy. I'd be willing to trade Rhys Hoskins because, 1, I think it frees up first base for Alec Boehm, and 2, it gives you a chance to maybe get something in return because someone would utilize Rhys Hoskins and probably get a lot out of him. So I think you need a lot of help. You need to change something. You need to change the core. What is real is stripping everything. What you can't do is strip everything because you signed Bryce Harper, because you signed JT Realmuto, because you brought back Didi Gregorius, albeit not the longest term deal in the world. You need to kind of stick with this because you can't re-strip and rebuild. It's a 5-6 year plan, if not longer. And you just signed Bryce Harper to all that money. There really is no option to rebuild. That's what you started with Matt Klentak. You started a rebuild. And this is where you are X amount of years later, and it's terrible. Look at this. Now it's like Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins is a nice player. That's why I think I would trade him, because you can get something. You need something new. You got this group doesn't work. This group, he's a horrendous absolute horrendous first baseman. And that's an issue. So maybe you can trade him to an American League team and you get something back in return. I'm not saying you move on from Rhys Hoskins and you get nothing. No, you get something significant back in return that you can utilize. You got to change something because this core, it's sort of like the Flyers core. We got to change the core. We got to move on from this guy. We got to trade Voracek. We got to do that. You got to do something different with this core. And Rhys Hoskins might be the one that gives you the most leverage because, one, you can actually get something back. Two, it frees up a hole at first base, and he's a bad first baseman. Now, Alec Boehm's going to be a bad defender, too. But you got to try something new. Maybe you can get a starting pitcher for Rhys. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But you got to try something because this doesn't work. I'm not claiming that Boehm, because Denise says Hoskins is not good, put Boehm there. I'm not claiming that Boehm is just going to be an elite defender at first baseman. He's not very good in the field. No matter where he's playing, he's not very strong in the field. Oh, Ethan. Ethan's a Leafs fan, comes in here and says, I'm no longer a fan. Wasn't that inevitable, though? Weren't you prepared for that to happen? I mean, it was obvious. Up 3-1 is tough. We talk about some of these other losses. You lose to the Boston Bruins in a series, and you lose in other areas, and it's like, okay, it's painful. This hits a whole new level of disappointment, though. But at the same time, I think everybody in their right mind knew that was going to happen. You knew it was. Yeah, yes, I really did know. I know. The NL East is wide open for the Phillies to win. I think what you're saying is the NL East is not very strong. I don't know if that means at all that this is for the Phillies to take. Just because the Phillies, let me go to Matt Gelb because I saw Matt Gelb. It's throwing out some. Let's see here. Matt Gelb says it's June 1st and only 3 National League teams, Pittsburgh, Arizona, and Colorado, have worse run differentials than the Phillies do. They have played .420 baseball, 21 and 29, since starting 4-0. They have some work to do. Yeah, they do. This is a bad baseball team. We're talking about the worst type of baseball. When you think of the Phillies right now, I think of the Colorado Rockies. I think of the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think of the worst, the absolute worst teams in baseball. That's how bad and how poorly they are playing. And that's reality of the situation. Yeah, this version of Phillies baseball, oh, no doubt. This is I'm not even close to 500. If this is the brand of baseball you're going to get, then it's not even close. You have Rhys Hoskins saying one thing and Joe Girardi saying another. Rhys Hoskins saying, we got time to turn this thing around, while you have Joe Girardi saying it's not late anymore. Well, which one is it? Which one is it? Yes, there is a little bit of both involved, but come on. I'm going to look for the actual quote that was mentioned. But yeah, it's just frustrating. It's like conflicting words a little bit to a degree. I can't find exactly the quote, but yeah. And by the way, it came down that Roman Quinn did have the ruptured Achilles. The fact that he even ran 2 steps after the ruptured Achilles, God bless him. That's got to be brutal. I feel really bad for him. Any injury in general is tough for a player, but you go to that level and it's more heartbreaking for sure. Yeah, I think so I was on the Fanatic yesterday and someone said it best. They tweeted into the show, actually, and they replied to one of the tweets saying, it's sad that the Sixers are about to complete the process before the Phillies even make a playoff game appearance. And it's so true. We are in a spot now where we might possibly see the Sixers complete an entire process of tanking on purpose, drafting their players, grooming their players, lose and grow in the playoffs, become a championship caliber team before we see the Phillies even play in a game. Not even win a game. No. Play in a playoff game. And that kind of blew my mind. It was really heartbreaking It's a shame. We'll never see winning baseball. We'll never see winning baseball. I'm convinced. Never, ever, ever see winning baseball. And it's no surprise that I love winning. All right? I'll never forget '08. I've been chasing that feeling ever since. I'm still winning now, though, because of Deal Dash, the online shopping platform that is actually fun. Deal Dash is the longest-running penny auction website and app around. Is it too good to be true? You bet it is. I've seen a car sold for $900. I've seen a brand new television for less than $2. Do not be a loser and stop paying full retail price for the things that you want and get on Deal Dash. Go to www.dealdash.com or download the app. By the way, when you register, enter the promo code COFFEE. That's promo code COFFEE for a special offer for some bonus opportunities. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can hit the link in the description, and that will automatically bring you to Deal Dash with my promo code already involved and in play. We've all been scrolling through TikTok for 5,000 hours and realizing, oh my Lord, how long have I been doing this? I get that same type of feel when I'm on Deal Dash. I'm scrolling. I'm looking through all these things. I'm putting in penny auction. I'm putting in auctions. It's nonstop. So check it out, DealDash.com, or download the app. Bryce Harper better hit some bottom. Well, Bryce Harper is extremely hurt, okay? And the fact that still not playing, it's like I don't anticipate Bryce Harper coming back. I mean, it just shows you the level of injured that he was, and he was still playing. And while I give him, all the love in the world for fighting through it, it's also stupid to fight through it at the same time, because now look, now you're off longer, and now you put yourself in a worse position, and now it's going to take more time to come back. And it's so many issues. It's so many issues. So shame on the organization for forcing him out there the way that he did. Hunter, are you as concerned as I am that Raul Neto has become a viable fourth quarter offensive option? I bet you if he got fouled, he'd go to the free throw line and knock down his shots. Huh? Crazy. Isn't it just crazy to think about? Didn't Raul Neto go down with an ankle injury at one point? I think he was the one that went down with the ankle injury. And how about the douchebag that ended up getting tackled because he wanted to go smack the backboard? I actually saw a better, because there were a lot of clips of it where all you saw was the tackle, or once he was on the ground, he was already wrapped up. There's someone who I think was at the top of the arena, and they filmed it of the guy literally running in the middle of play, smacking the backboard, and the guy coming to tackle him full speed. Just a joke, first off, that the fans are reacting the way that they are to getting back in the stands. I mean, come on, grow up. Stop being losers. Robin Lopez. Yeah, the Robin Lopez hook shots were the ugliest things I've ever seen in my life. Just an embarrassment. There's no arc. There's literally no arc. These shots were being made line drive, even with the rim, with the front of the rim. Like, what? How does that happen? Unorthodox. His legs are spread out. There's no form involved. Just chucks it over his head, like nonchalant as can be. I couldn't get over it. I couldn't get over the no arc. In what world? At one point, he was 7 of 8 with 14 points. 7 of 8, 14 points. Ethan comes in with the $2 donation, says, who's winning the Cup and the NBA championship? Who's winning the Stanley Cup? Well, you had that awesome Bruins-Islanders game. There's something about the Bruins that I love this year, but I don't know if it's Colorado. Is Colorado the safe bet for the Stanley Cup? My God, did they wax Vegas's ass in the game one? Now, there's so much to be played. Just because you smack a team 7-1, that counts as 1. You got to win 4. Doesn't count anymore because you won by 6 goals. But Colorado looks to be the favorite, man. They are rocking and rolling and playing beautiful style of hockey. Nathan McKinnon and Rantanen, and that line is just gross. Good luck. Gabriel Landeskog. Cal McCarr with the footwork at the blue line is just sensational. The way that he opens up lanes, it was crazy. You also had for the NBA, I think you have a scenario where it's very wide open. I'm going to stick with the 76ers even after last night. So I know it's probably not the most ideal pick in the world. See, this is what's crazy. You have people in my comments last night automatically saying, you're never going to win. After losing last night, you'll never win a championship. It's like, okay, here we go with the extreme thing again. I'm still sticking with my guns with the Sixers, even though yesterday they lost. Thank you so much for the donation, Ethan. Obviously, though, it comes down to Joel Embiid's health. Philly for Life asked if I want Julio Jones. I'll be honest with you. When the news came out of Julio Jones, to me, not interested. I don't think he really lines up with the timeline of what you're looking for. I didn't see it. I didn't see it right from the jump, and quite frankly, I still don't see it. It's just a big name. Everyone screams when a big name's available, go get him, go get him, go get him, go get him, go get him. I don't see it. I think that there's a lot of other holes right now. You have a 32-year-old wide receiver who is becoming a little bit of some drama right now in Atlanta, who I know if you look at his game logs, it's 16 games, and last year it wasn't that many, but he's always nicked up. He's always playing through something. There's always a lingering issue here and there. I just don't see the timeline and how it lines up with the winning product of Eagles football. I don't see it. You're retooling. You're rebuilding. A whole 32-year-old. We just went through Alshon. We just went through Deshaun Jackson. And now all of a sudden we want to bring in a guy who's extremely at a point where I was going to say extremely banged up. He plays through a lot, but he's always nicked up. And now all of a sudden we want to go down the road of these old veteran wide receivers after every fan just screamed that you were forcing Alshon and forcing Deshaun to play when they're not like you're forcing them here. It's like, oh yeah, we have these guys. Yeah, these guys are banged up and old, yet we're ready to bring on another one. I just don't see it. Me personally, I don't see it. $2 more coming in from Ethan. Colorado had a 9-minute power play. Yeah, well, that's what happens when Ryan Reeves does what Ryan Reeves does, and you play dirty, you play chippy, and you try. That's what happens when games get out of hand. When games get out of hand, the opposing squad's going to want to try and make a statement, right? They're going to try and force you to realize, like, hey, the series isn't over. We're going to play you tough. It's going to be brutal. Keep your head up. It's going to get choppy, and we're going to come after your throat. So that's just what happens. And Ryan Reeves went overboard, unfortunately, even though it's no surprise. And who was it? Someone told me that Evander Kane tweeted out something like, instead of suspending, I'll look up the tweet, but instead of suspending Ryan Reeves, you might, like, the punishment should be he has to play X amount of minutes, which is hilarious. You're basically admitting at that point, keeping him off the ice is actually benefiting the Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah, instead of suspension, they should have played him 20 minutes a night for the rest of the series. That's actually pretty damn funny, right? It's like, you suck so much. Keeping you off the ice is actually benefiting your team. Although there's an intimidation factor, of course, there's an element of that. So I'm not acting as if it's like fully warranted, but I understand the point that was made. Good old Evander Kane. Twitch stream today, Brodes, of course, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 4 p.m. There is a Twitch stream that's going to happen. We'll probably play some MLB The Show. We'll see where it takes us. But yes, I do need to go to. Yesterday was my mother's birthday, but I worked. So I said I'd go over today for a little bit. So after Coffee with Brodes, I'm going to do that and then come back and then hop on a stream. So I am still planning at 4 p.m. here on the East Coast. Excuse me. I feel like I hiccup every single Coffee with Brodes. Is it because I'm talking so much while trying to enjoy my coffee? Maybe there's something happening through the esophagus with the amount I'm talking with the drinking. But yes, Twitch stream. Yes, happy birthday, Mama Brodes. Sometimes she listens. And if she does, the people say happy birthday to Mama Brodes. How much did the hitting view I told you try out go? Am I reading this the wrong way? How much did the hitting view I told you try out go? I don't know what that is. Unless I'm reading that wrong. I wish I could give you tips on how not to suck, but I'm in the category of sucking. Who would you rather play, Knicks or Hawks, considering Embiid's healthy? I'd probably rather see the Knicks, to be honest with you. But I think the Sixers take care of business no matter what. There is this element of Trae Young, a quicker, smaller guard. They've always somewhat caused the Sixers problems. Even though in the pick and roll game, they don't play the drop coverage anymore. They play more up. They establish the big man up more. But can that impact maybe Clint Capella getting to the rim and throwing up some lobs with Trae Young? I just think they have something where I'm not saying it's good enough to beat the Sixers by any means, because I don't. I think they do have something that can counter the Sixers more than what the Knicks do, though, with this Trae Young smaller guard. Sometimes that gives Ben Simmons some problems. And I'm not saying like that's a knock on Ben Simmons. It's not. It's not easy to stick with a smaller guard when you're 6'10". I just think that Trae Young and Clint Capella and that team can give you a little bit more than Julius Randle can in terms of just some compete. But with all that being said, the Sixers are a stronger team. They're a smarter team. They're more a complete team. They have more skill than that team. So ultimately, I believe the Sixers handle business no matter who they play in the second round. But there is an element of the Hawks that I think could be a little bit splashier from their standpoint that might be able to just produce a little bit more. I think they're a better team than the Knicks are. You're watching the Knicks struggle. You're watching Julius Randle struggle. It's just different beast. Playoffs are a different beast. Do I think Joe will play game 5? I mean, if you're just asking me based off of natural gut feel, I do. And if he doesn't, then it tells me it's more serious than I thought it was. My feel was, and I watched the replay a billion times, you can see his legs somewhat get caught before he falls back, which is a concern because it kind of reminds me of where that bone bruise came into play, like just a similar type of feel to that, like the bone bruise. But it did feel, and this is just my gut, it's nothing doctors are saying, and there's no evidence, and there's nothing, but I wonder if it was just, look, we're up 3-0 in the series. We'll be fine. There's no reason to force this thing. No reason to continue this game out. Let's get all the proper information. Let's assess this the right way and take the most precautionary possible route that we can. So there is an element of that I think went down. There is a concern, though, that it took so long. There is a concern that it took so long. We had no answers. We're waiting. We're waiting for halftime. We get the news at halftime. Like, we're waiting. Why did it take so long for us to get the information? That's something that kind of sucked. Yeah, Joel Embiid did end up going to the bench right away. He got up. There was some grimacing. There was some back holding. He went to the bench. He sat down, and then he ended up going back after that. So there was a little bit after that was in play for Joel before he went back to the sorry, I'm looking at some of the beat reporters here to see what's going on. See if there's an update. Nope, I guess not. Sorry. I thought we were getting an update from something that was being said in Camden, but it looks like that is not the case. In Camden at the practice facility, that is. $5 coming in from Logan Wright. Morning, Brodes. Excited to see what my neighbor Jankowski can bring to the table. I do pray for a good recovery for Quinn. Oh, he's your neighbor? That's what's up. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty telling that he gets caught up over Mickey Moniak. And that's no disrespect to Jankowski, of course, but you end up having a number 1 overall pick in center field, and you're calling up Jankowski over Mickey Moniak. I think it tells you everything you need to know about where Mickey Moniak still is. Everyone tried telling me when he was playing earlier, you're wrong about Mickey. You're wrong about Mickey. He can play. He's good. You were too hard on him. No, I wasn't. Mickey Moniak is lacking MLB skill. Mickey Moniak is lacking something, okay? He's not even close to being ready to play in the major leagues. He's not even close to sniffing the major leagues. You're throwing Jankowski out there instead of your number 1 overall pick in the Major League Baseball draft. When you're on, what, your 5th option? Come on. It's crazy. Could have drafted Ian Anderson. You are correct. Could have drafted Ian Anderson. And then when you go to Adam Hazley and you look at that draft, you could have drafted Trevor Rogers. But instead, you picked up a 4th outfielder. It's crazy. Yeah, Cornelius Randolph is on a nice tear in the minors. It's just hard for me right now. Like, if you're telling me, and I can separate the two, right? I can separate the two players having success in the minors and how the top team is playing. But the Phillies suck so much, and the Phillies are so bad and embarrassing that the last thing that I can get excited for is Randolph. Now, like I said, I can separate the two, and I understand that they don't really correlate. If the Phillies were playing well and Randolph was still having success, would I feel differently about Randolph? I would still have the same opinion. Good for him, nice for him and all. But this organization is such a disaster and such a dumpster fire that one prospect having a nice run here is the farthest thing from me getting all woohoo about where we are here. It's just so damn disappointing, and it's heartbreaking that we'll never, ever, 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 ever see good baseball ever in Philadelphia. The 08, 09, like we grew up in that. We grew up with that thinking that's Phillies baseball. Phillies lose. They're losers. It's a losing organization. It really is, like no other. They have losses on their resume like no other franchise. We were spoiled. Being born in 95 and growing up in 08 and 09 and 2010 and being in that age bracket where I'm watching baseball and loving baseball, at that age, we were spoiled. That's not Phillies baseball. It's not. This is Phillies baseball. This is the product you get out of this organization 99.9% of their existence. So once we get that through our head, and look, I know 2010, 2011, they were heartbreaking and they were very disappointing when you lost in the playoffs and the 1-0 loss to the Cardinals happened. But you throw 2010 in the mix, you throw those 2011 in the mix, you throw those teams in the mix because of what we were talking about for the 162. But yeah, World Series wise, 08 and 09, yeah, you're right. They had another win in them. They did. That organization at the time had another World Series in them, and they let it slip. And I don't even know if the answer was 09. Like, sure, they got to the World Series and lost to the Yankees that year, but was that the year that they didn't get the one that they should have? They should have got that second. Was that the year they did it? Because you can argue that with all those years of winning baseball, their best team, they didn't even win the championship with. They did not win the championship with their best team, which is somewhat ironic. Do I miss Fultz? What type of question is that? What the hell would I miss Fultz? What is that? The only thing positive about last night is that Mark Zumoff can maybe call one more game. Yeah, I guess that is very true. That is very true. Mark Zumoff and Ala get another game. You're right. Then we get to the national broadcast. I don't know. Am I the only one? I'll never go national broadcast unless I'm forced to. People go national broadcast last night. There's no way in hell I'm listening to the national feed when I can listen to Mark Zumoff. There's no way in hell that I'm going to do that at all. So, I don't know. Some people do, though. Some people feel the need to flip. Some people feel the need to go back and forth throughout the game. Some people like it because it gives a different perspective. I'll never go national. I think national feeds stink. Now, as you get deeper in and as you get to the NBA Finals and all, I'm not talking about the last series, but I'm talking more just in general. There's no way that I'm ever going national feed over the greatness of Mark Zumoff and Ala. I can get them as much as I possibly can. I want Mark Zumoff to narrate my life. That would be pretty damn funny. Here's Brodes going for the coffee. Yes! As soon as I hit the start button to start my... That's pretty damn funny. I wonder if I could get Zoo to do something for you. Hey, Zoo, yeah, let me ask you something. You got 10 minutes? I want you to narrate my life for me so we can make a video. That's actually hysterical to think about. Yeah, the coffee's brewed. You hit the coffee button so you can feel the coffee or hear the coffee start hitting the coffee mug. Yes! Or I'm walking the dog and the dog finally takes a shit because it's taken forever. You got to walk him 3 times around the block. And the third time around, he finally gets to his corner. And when he gets to his corner, you can see him start to sniff. And when he does his shit sniff, you know it's coming. And then he starts to move his feet real fast. Like, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. The garbage in the goal, that could be a perfect one. He squats down and the shit starts coming out of his ass. Yes! The fans start cheering. There's just somehow there's 20,000 fans in my neighborhood and they're all clapping. That's it. What just happened? Where did we just go? In what universe was that? That was a conversation I never thought we'd have today. After the Phillies blow, after the Ben Simmons debacle, the last conversation I thought we'd have is Mark Zumoff talking about my dog turning garbage into gold. Hold on, Allah. We're coming in for a landing. That's good, too. That's good. That's good stuff. That's actually hilarious. We're idiots. It's amazing. That's good stuff. Don't think Embiid will play in Game 5. Wiz will win Game 5 and then why are you saying that? First off, you're on your home floor. I think you're being a troll. I think the Sixers, prepared to play without Joel Embiid, can beat the Wizards without Joel Embiid. They should be able to. There's enough talent on that roster to do it. So shame on them. There's no excuse. There's no excuse at all. If Joel Embiid does not play Game 5 and they're at home without Joel and they're prepared to play a game, when it happens mid-game and it throws you in for a loop and you're all over the place and you're trying to get your emotions in check and you don't really have a game plan and you're kind of doing things on the fly, I'm not thrilled, but I understand. If you have the time to properly engage and you have a possibility of, and you know that, and you're prepared and there's a plan to play without him, there's enough talent on this roster and you're playing at home to beat this stinking Wizards team without Joel Embiid. So there's no excuse if that is the case. Yeah, 100% capacity as well. There's no excuse if that's the case. Jose says Sixers will take care of business in Game 5. I would agree with you. No shot the Sixers lose Game 5 with 100% capacity. I agree with that. They'll be fine. Thankful this happened in round 1 and not round 3. Yeah, that's true. I mean, let's hope it doesn't linger, though. Let's hope this isn't. He's going to play through discomfort. He's going to be battling. He's going to be nicked up. There's going to be some pain. He's going to have to fight through it. Everyone's playing through pain. Everyone's playing through some sort of adversity here, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally. And Joel Embiid is in the mix with everybody else. So he's not the only one. By the time you get to round 2, by the time you get to round 3, there's going to be players that are nicked up. That's going to have a hamstring tweak here. That's going to have an ankle thing there. It's just a part of the business, my friend. Part of the business. Ben at the free throw line makes my hair go gray. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, when he's there and there's zero confidence involved, everyone knows. Everyone's sitting there going, he's going to miss one. And then there was actually a sequence where he hits the first. And you think, is there a way that he actually goes 2 for 2? Because majority of the time he went clunk and then made the second. So clunk the first one, made the second. There was a time where he made the first. And we're like, wow, he might actually go 2 of 2. Misses the second. And it's okay. It's okay to say that you can be special. And you can also be an issue in the most important parts of a close game. That doesn't mean you despise the individual. Doesn't mean you hate him. And I think I'm going to do a blog post on the toxic fans of the extremists, the Ben Simmons extremists. I think I might do a blog post on them. I think. I need to process this, but my mind is headed in that direction of kind of blogging my thoughts on the Ben Simmons and the aggressiveness of both sides, the despisers and the extremists that come in here and say that this is on Joel Embiid, not realizing his body can't take a fall, more so than it is on Ben Simmons missing the shots. Ben taking the slow walk up to the court to the line with the deer in the headlights look. Yeah, if you watch his body language, it was, all right, here we go again. God damn, here. And I think I've been a big quote guy today, which makes sense. I want to hear or see. He was saying something after the game. I know Mina Kimes, everyone was talking about her. Her tweet last night was Ben Simmons walking to the free throw line like he's being asked to clean his room. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. There was a Ben Simmons quote. Was it John Clark that had it after the game? I'm not worried about it. I don't expect him to say, you know what? I'm worried about it. I don't expect him to say that, but I want to see what okay, here you go. Ben Simmons on Hack-A-Ben. Just step up and knock them down. I'm not afraid of that strategy. I'm not upset. I'm not really worried about people fouling me. Well, you should be, Ben. You should be. You should be worried about it. You should be upset about it. It's a part of your game that just costed you a playoff game. And it's been the same problem over the years. So you should be upset about it. You should. And I don't expect him to say, you know what? I'm afraid of that strategy. Like, I'm not saying the guy needs to stand in front of a microphone and start just telling everybody that he's terrible at basketball and he's terrible at free throws. And he's like, I don't expect him to do that. But I'm not really worried about people fouling me. And I'm not afraid of this strategy. I'm not upset. How about like, I'm gonna work on this. How about something like that? I'm gonna work on this. I'm going to make sure that I continue to. I've been working on this. Sam Cassell and I have been working on my free throws all year long. We've been working on my craft all year long. This is an opportunity for me to get back into the gym, get better, so I can, next time this happens, because I know it's coming, I'm going to knock them down. I'm going to complete the job. I'm going to finish it up. I look at this as an opportunity to face adversity, get back into the gym, get back into the lab. I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to make sure that this doesn't hurt my team moving forward. How about something like that? How about something like that? That's all. That's all I'm asking for. Crazy. Just absolutely crazy. Gabe Kapler's in here and says he wants an apology. I can't do such thing. I won't allow it. I've already done that before. I hate to admit it. I've already done that before. It makes me sick. Makes me sick. All right, everyone. I want to thank you all so much for hanging out today in Coffee with Brodes. It was a lot of fun. There's nothing better than hanging out with all of you every morning, drinking some coffee, talking some sports, relaxing. It really does put a smile on my face. So I just want to thank you all so much for all the crazy support to this point. And I can't wait to continue this. Of course, it's always fun. What do we have today? Okay, 4 o'clock. We're going live on Twitch, twitch.tv /Brodes_media. So make sure you head on over to my Twitch channel, hit the follow button, get ready. We'll probably play some MLB The Show, maybe some NHL, maybe some Call of Duty. I don't know which game. Maybe we'll flip through them. I don't know. We'll play some video games, though. So be there. I'll probably do some more conversation about the Sixers at some point because they play Wednesday, right? So they play tomorrow. They play tomorrow. They're right back at it on Wednesday. That is correct, right? I guess I should verify that, but I'm pretty positive that's what it is. I should probably know the Sixers playoff schedule off the top of my head, but I just want to verify. Yes, tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Okay. Just wanted to verify. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much, and I'll